But anyway, what's going on?
Same old. Trying to get websites finished for clients who want this change and that change, and things that they changed before change to another thing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, every web designer's headache. Scope creep.
The joys.
Scope creep is the common term.
Yeah. I'm hearing you.
Things that were not in scope suddenly become in scope because it creeps in. And if you haven't got your T's and C's in check, you know, down, and all your let's say your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Sometimes,
especially dealing with lawyers, mate. Especially dealing with lawyers.
Probably shouldn't mention clients, but you know, sometimes they can hold your feet to the fire, and just to save an argument, you just go, all right, yes, I'll do it. And then there's another day lost, and then there's another day lost, and you just want to get a project finished. But with every project you do, you learn, and you try to improve for the next time, for the next client.
You do. Absolutely.
So, but anyway, we're on Twitter now. Now, what is the Twitter handle? It's called, I couldn't put Chronicles on the Fly as our Twitter handle because it's too long. So it's Chronicles OTF.
That's all right.
Chronicles OTF. So now we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So on Facebook and Instagram, find us on, just search for Chronicles on the Fly. Easy. And on Twitter, it's Chronicles OTF. So I expect every single person who's listening to us to follow us on all those social media channels. Get on it.
But I've actually noticed that a lot of people aren't using Twitter anymore. It's kind of like fallen off the... everyone I talk to is fallen off a bit off the social media prevalence.
Well, I use Twitter. I probably use Twitter more than anything at the moment.
I find Twitter a bit too... I've gone a bit off Twitter.
It's very... you know which way it leans in terms of...
It's not even that. Just some of the people, just the bots and all that, you know.
Well, you know what I found? I don't know. I suppose this is more of a political slant to do with Twitter. But did you notice that Alan Jones yesterday announced he's retiring from radio?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my God! And Twitter went mental. Just had to rehash all the bad stuff he's done. And yeah, he's done a lot of stupid things and said a lot of stupid things. Far out, man. It's just like any chance to just dig at someone and trash someone.
The one thing I do find, the only good thing I find about Twitter now is updates on scores, especially in sporting scores. It's straight away, you know. It's really good.
It's good for that.
Like for UFC, I like watching it for UFC because you get all the. Sometimes they put a snippet on there because if they don't go to pay-per-view, I reckon that on that it's pretty good. And even like in general scores, you get the updates pretty fast, as opposed to what you do with Instagram or a different form of social media. That's about all. That's all I use it now for, just to see a bit of scores, a bit of information. Because if I follow everything that people say on there, you'd be like, really? Like, really?
Yeah, no, it's easy to get into arguments with people. That's the fun of it sometimes.
Yeah, no, I don't really do that. I don't actually I get myself too deeply involved in that sort of stuff. So you're talking to probably some young 14-year-old kid who knows nothing, sitting behind a computer. That's what I think about.
Well, that's the same on any social media channel, really. It's not just unique to Twitter. But we're late. We'd normally been doing our podcasts on Saturday mornings, and we didn't do one last Saturday. So here's our midweek one. Well, it's Wednesday now, but whenever it goes out, I'm not sure. I'll try to get it up as soon as possible. But yeah, and actually I was speaking to a cousin of yours yesterday, one of your many cousins.
What am I, 500?
He said to me, where's that podcast? I was looking for it on Saturday and it didn't come up. All our fans out there spewing.
Yeah, that's fun. It's all good. I think that particular cousin wants to keep talking about the Jordan documentary.
Oh yeah, we did have a chat about the Jordan documentary. Oh, on that, did you watch episodes 7 and 8?
I haven't watched 8. I've watched 7. So.
Oh, once you've watched every week. Once I watch the first one, I can't stop there. I've got to watch the second one.
Yeah, so I'd like to, but I got into it last night. I watched Have You Been Paying Attention with my wife. I like to try and do that.
Have you been paying? Is that show on Channel 10?
Yeah, it's actually really good.
Yeah.
As a comedy show, it's actually really funny. It's lost a bit of its appeal, obviously, because they're not having it person to person because they got to do it social distance.
Oh, they're doing it with Zoom or something. What are they doing?
Yeah, like on Zoom. Yeah, so there's 5 Zoom screens, and like it's still funny, but not as funny as what it could be. Obviously, when they're all together. So
I haven't seen that.
I still enjoy it. I still enjoy it. I still enjoy it quite a lot. And I try and watch that with my wife because I know she likes it. And yeah, so I do that. And
so The Last Dance, episode 7, I reckon, is the best one so far. Even, yeah, it was brilliant. Probably the best part was how Michael Jordan got emotional about how, I suppose, how his teammates view him all these years later. You know, a number of them said that, you know, he's not a nice guy or wasn't a nice guy, but not in a way that they're trying to dig at him. It's just like, I think they can see, like, he had to be the way he was. He had to be so single-minded.
I think it's put another perspective of it. You got to really take your hat off to him he's almost subhuman the way he committed himself to have that drive to win and to win in all aspects of life, whether it was golf, whether it was gambling, whether it was TV, whether it was anything. He just had that instinct to win. And I think those type of people that have that instinct, they're going to have that element of I'm the best and to try and lift you up. I think they're going to have that,
that's
trait.
Exactly right. So, you know, the whole purpose of him berating his teammates in training was to challenge them, right? To get them to lift, to come up to his level. He was trying to pull them up, basically. And he knew how to get under his teammates' skin so that they would perform better when he needed them to. Very, very intelligent to understand individuals' personalities, I think. I mean, whether he just did that to everybody the same way or whether he knew how to play individual personalities, it probably wasn't as clear on that aspect. But yeah, I just thought, you know, like the way he, who was the player? Was it Burrell? Was that his name?
Yeah, Burrell.
The way he really drove him to improve his game, but Burrell all these years later didn't feel aggrieved about it. He understood why Jordan did what he did and the way he acted the way he did towards him. And Jordan respected him for it. And even Steve Kerr, who they had a punch up with, they both respected each other because of that or coming from that.
I didn't know he had it. When did he have it? Or does that come after?
Oh, that might come in episode 8, yeah. So apparently they had a bit of fisticuffs.
I personally wasn't a fan of Steve Kerr anyway. So.
Okay,
yeah, that's another story.
But yeah, Jordan's, you know, I think, you know, he lost control, lost his temper, and I think he just lashed out. And it wasn't something that Kerr did. It was just he was just the one on the receiving end, and he felt like shit afterwards. And he said he rang him up after training, and they cleared the air. But both of them said it made them respect each other more. You know, that incident. So yeah, it was very interesting.
I don't think it's a shame, but it doesn't really give Luke Longley's perspective. I thought he probably deserved a little bit more.
I've read something about Luke Longley. I think he's staying quiet during the airing of all this. I don't think he's giving interviews, apparently. So it'll be interesting to see after the series is finished whether he'll do an interview about it. But I think he's staying quiet.
Mm.
Because I haven't seen anything. You know, a lot of past players are doing interviews like on ESPN in America, obviously, and a lot of just, you know, basketballers, Australian basketballers even, who've been involved in the NBA are doing interviews like on SEN or, you know, whether it's 6PR or you know, radio stations, sport programs about the series, but nothing from Luke Longley at all. So it'd be interesting if he does an interview about it later on. It'd be interesting just to hear his perspective.
Oh, you'd have some pretty amazing stories about the whole experience. You know?
I mean, he was there, about 4 years at the Bulls?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years I think he was.
So the last three championships, he won them all, didn't he?
Yeah, he was in the last 3 one. Before that, he was at Minnesota, I think it was, the Timberwolves. Yeah, Timberwolves he was.
What about after the Bulls? Did he go anywhere after the Bulls?
He did, if I remember, to Phoenix, and then I think he might have done a stint at New York, I think. He did, but didn't play too long, from what I remember.
Has he ever been involved in the Perth Wildcats?
Yeah, he was. 1986, here we go. I'll just put up his stats. 1986 as a Perth Wildcat.
Did he play for them?
Apparently in 86, doesn't say how many games, but apparently he did. And then he was a Scotch college boy in Perth. And then he ended up at the University of New Mexico. And then he ended up at Minnesota Timberwolves, Chicago Bulls, did 4 years, Phoenix Suns, and the New York Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he's an assistant coach of Australia at the moment.
Right.
So, well.
Yeah, and was it episode 7 was, a lot about his father and...
Well, actually, it all comes back to me now that I do remember that now when his father got murdered. It's like, the comeback was like, I remember there was a big thing at that time. Hence why he played baseball. It's all coming back.
Yeah, that was a big part of the reason why he quit the game after the 3rd championship. And
did you see baseball. That guy, what he said as well, the coach, he was actually how he trained, like before the game, before training, he trained, during training, then after training. I mean...
After a game, he would continue training after that. And Terry Francona, who is the manager of Cleveland now, I mean, he was Jordan's coach in that minor league team. Mm. But yeah, he's a pretty well-known MLB coach. And he actually said Jordan improved so much, and his batting average got he was batting over 200, which is that's a decent batting average. They reckon he was on his way to the majors. Look, at the end of the day, it's obviously a completely different sport to basketball and a completely different way of using your body, right?
But he was saying that he did play up until he was 17 as well. So it's not as if he did not know how to play. He didn't know how to play.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being professional or semi-professional and 17 years old. But yeah, he was just retraining his body basically and relearnt the game, and he was that dedicated that he would have eventually been picked up by the majors, maybe, because the minor league team he was playing at was a satellite club from Chicago White Sox. Who knows? He might have played for the White Sox. They had the same owner, White Sox and the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, yeah.
So there was that potential advantage. I don't know whether the owners ever have any say, but that would have been bloody awesome to see him play in Major League.
You still got to take your hat off to him as a player and his dedication, whether it was the minor league or the NBA. He still had that drive, that passion to go ahead and keep achieving. I thought that was pretty cool.
At the end of the day, whatever he puts his mind to, mate, he puts 200% into it. That's
And I like that comment he made. He goes, "I never asked any of the players to do something that I would never have done or couldn't do."
Exactly.
I was like, "Well, it's pretty impressive."
Yeah.
I really respect that. So, so tonight I think I'll watch episode 8. It's a very addictive documentary, to be honest.
It's brilliant. It's so well done. Have you seen the part about Scottie Pippen, how he sat out and didn't come back in the game?
That was a bit of a sookie moment for Scottie.
Yeah, he's an interesting character, isn't he? He likes to spit the dummy, or did like to spit the dummy a bit,
Well, look, I can understand why he spit the dummy about his wage. I think he had all right to spit the dummy about that.
Yeah, but he left the team in the lurch then because he was sitting out games, right? Well, first he went and had an operation during the season. This is early career, wasn't it? Operation on his foot during the season because he didn't want to miss his summer.
Yeah. Oh no, he left it late. He did it at the end. He did it late in summer, so he wouldn't.
Oh, right.
So he missed that half the season.
Right. Okay, that's right. So that was the early episodes, and then he wanted to be the key guy in that final play. I can't remember what the game was. Was it a playoff?
Yeah, playoff. Yeah,
against.
And Tony Kukoc did it.
Was it Indiana? Was it the Indiana series? So what was that? 95.
It was 95.
Yeah. So it was the year when he was the man because Jordan wasn't playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But Phil Jackson gave the play to Kukoc, who made the 2-pointer to win the game on the buzzer, which was brilliant. What a shot that was.
Yeah, but Kukoc was a good. He was another as a player that probably didn't get the kudos or the respect that he probably deserved because he actually was a really good player.
Yeah,
Tony Kukoc. Yeah.
Well, he was like the star in Europe at the when they drafted him.
But yeah, I think he a poor guy. He didn't really like. If you think of Chicago Bulls, obviously Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. But there was also like Kukoc was a great player. Steve Kerr, as much as I don't like him, was a good player. And Horace Grant, another great player.
Yeah, and Grant goes off to Orlando and then comes back to Chicago to win the series, and he went mental, mate. He really threw it in their faces. Maybe you haven't seen that. Maybe that was episode 8.
Yeah, because I don't think because they must have left on bad terms. I think I'm not sure. Grant and
I don't know. They didn't really go into what the terms were that he left Chicago, but yeah, he loved it, beating them in the Eastern Conference playoff. That's for sure. In 95. So that was when Jordan came back just before the playoffs. Pretty much, he played a handful of games before the playoffs. If I'm correct.
He was a good player, Horace Grant. He was another one that was kind of
but I think he didn't like being in the shadow.
Yeah, he was a really good player. He didn't get the respect he probably did deserve as well.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah, no, I'm really getting into this series. It's awesome, and watching like YouTube clips afterwards of highlights and interviews with other players. And
I don't remember I don't know if you remember, but I used to do the old basketball card collections. I used to have I got to go find it. Man, I had thousands and thousands of cards.
Did you?
Of basketball cards. Yeah, I had.
Did you ever have a Jordan card?
Yeah, love to have it. I did, of course, I had Jordan cards, but not like the real good ones.
Okay.
The good ones you couldn't afford because back then.
I had World Cup soccer cards. That was
I had them too. I had Rocky cards. I had Rocky. Can you believe it? Rocky 4. I had Rocky 4 cards. I had basketball cards from the 85 to 92, 93 season. I reckon I
had a handful of Kiss collector cards as well, actually. Oh, maybe yeah, I didn't think I had a few of them anyway. But they're the original 1980s or something Kiss collector cards. I've still got them.
They had a couple of AFL football ones. Well, back then it was VFL/AFL, so I got a couple of them lying around. But I definitely bought a lot of it. I remember a lot of AFL, NBA cards. There was heaps I had.
Oh, I was going to say when the Bulls were going on this run, right, mate, I was not even aware. Like basketball didn't register for me whatsoever.
See, for me, to me, I was probably a little bit different. I did register a lot, and I used to like shoes. I don't know if you remember, but I used to like shoes back in those days, right?
Back then, I couldn't have picked a pair of Air Jordans out of a lineup, mate. I wouldn't have had a clue what they looked like.
I remember begging my mother to get me a pair of when I was in primary school, year 6 or year 7, to get me a pair of Jordans. There was like begging and pleading and wishing, oh, Ma, I want a pair of Jordans, I want a pair of Jordans, I want a pair of Jordans. Please,
How much did they cost roughly back then?
I can't remember how much the Jordans were, but I do remember the Reebok pumps that Dominic Wilkins wore back in 1990 or 91 were $299 a pair.
I did have a pair of Reebok pumps once in primary school, but I don't think they were like the absolute expensive type.
The ones that the Dominic Wilkins ones were the original pump, the original pump. I was like, Mum, please. She goes, there's no way I'm giving you $299 to spend it. And I can understand that because back then the wage was nowhere near. That's a lot of money. I mean, not even now it's a lot of money.
That's like $600 now.
Forget about 25, 30 years ago. It's huge, huge money. And then I remember I ended up getting a pair when I got to high school, towards high school, I got a pair of Adidas, and then I got a pair of Nike Air Force. The ones were worn by, at the time, I think Scottie Pippen actually wore them, Nike Air Force. No, sorry, Nike Air Solo Flight they were. No, Nike Air Flight. Scottie Pippen wore them, and so did David Robinson. And then I got a pair of Nike Air Force, which were worn by another basketball player, I don't know who it was at that time.
Air Force, yeah, I remember that name.
Nike Air Force. I had a pair of Nike Air Force, and then I ended up getting I didn't get a pair of Reebok Converse, because Converse got back into the game, and then so did Adidas got it back into the game. So I was going through. So I went for a stage of the whole shoe, the Nike shoes and all that, which was pretty cool. But I always wanted a pair of Jordans, and I never got a pair of Jordans. Actually, to the point, and listen to this one, when I went to Malaysia with my wife, my family, my whole family, was my family, my dad, and my brother-in-law went, and my sister's family. We all went to Malaysia. We ended up going to this like a, what's it called? Like a DFO type thing, one of those shopping centers,
like markets or something.
And they had a Nike factory, a Nike shop there, right? And in Malaysia, they all got midget feet, right? Anyway, so I ended up going to this Nike shop, and I walk in there, and there's a pair of Nike Air. This was only last year, mind you. Nike Air Jordans, the Jordan 4s they were, but they were the black with the blue stripe, as opposed to, because he used to wear the black with the red stripe, because that's what the Chicago colours were. Anyway, and they were down from like converted to Aussie dollars from 300 Aussie dollars to about 120, 130, right? And all the sizes from, they were size 12, 13 or 14. All the big sizes, all the small ones were left, right? They're gone. Everyone had the big feet. And I'm like, and I'm a size 13, 12, 13, thereabouts. And I go, I'm going to buy. I said, Paula, oh my God, I said to my wife, they got them. They got Jordan 4s. She goes, go buy them. I said, yeah, but they're the blue ones. I should really want she goes, if you don't buy it, you regret it. You regret not buying because you always wanted them. And you know what I did? I left, I didn't buy them, and then I come back and I'm like, oh my God,
But what are you going to wear them for? Play basketball?
No, just to wear my shoes, just shoes to wear. I've got a pair. I actually bought a pair of Reebok pumps as well, a retro pair, and they're like awesome. I love them. It just makes me feel young again, you know. It's an awesome feeling. You know, I put my Reebok pumps on. Everyone looks at me like, this is those old bloke wearing Reebok pumps. But so you know what? I like it. It makes me feel good. Yeah, Reebok pumps. Still got the box here, and I regret not buying those Jordan 4s. That would have been the first pair of Jordans, and they weren't expensive. And I'm looking back now, and I was like, no. If I ever get a chance to go back there, in a heartbeat, but I won't be there. But it's a shame, but that's life, you know.
Well, just to finish up on TV stuff, have you been watching Sopranos? You were up.
No, I haven't actually. I've started season 2, but I haven't had time, to be honest.
I think it was last night I finished the last episode of season 1.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm catching up to you.
Yeah, no, I've got to get back onto it. There's a few things I really haven't, even though we've been locked down or whatever. Time seems to be going. We're doing probably a bit of work at home, a bit of study. So it all. Yeah.
What are you studying?
I'm trying to get another diploma, to be honest. So,
on top of your previous 13?
Yeah, you never have too much study.
What's this one about?
Oh, it's mortgage, broker and finance.
Okay.
I should actually finish it. I've actually done it. I've only got to finish my assignments. I've started doing a few at home.
Well, so I'll come to you when I need more money from the bank.
Well, you can try
to buy another house or something.
Yeah, you can try. But I use it as CPD as well, because you've got to maintain continuing professional development.
Right. Okay.
But I thought to myself, if I'm going to spend the money, I might as well get something out of it. Instead of going to listen to all these people dribble, might as well, because that all counts towards it, whether you do that course or that course or that course. So I might do that.
All right. So what else has been happening in the world? One thing I noticed during the week was all these protests in Melbourne. I'm not sure if it was anywhere else, but I saw on the news that it was happening in Melbourne. All these nut jobs protesting the lockdown. And some were protesting about 5G, and I just thought,
oh my God,
Jesus Christ! I had my questions about 5G because I watched this, that, and the other, and I thought, now that all these nut job hippie losers are on the case, I thought, geez, let it go. let them. It can't be too serious if all these idiots are onto it.
Well, to question, what was it? They were protesting about the lockdown, which I get, because Victoria's a bit different. They're pretty strict on their lockdown over there. A lot more strict.
They can finally play golf again.
Yeah, I think Sam Newman was happy.
Yeah. He was right. I'm sorry. Like, everyone can call him an old fart or whatever, and, you know, old man shouting at the clouds, whatever. But argue, you know, debate the argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is he right or is he wrong? And he was right all along. It was such a stupid rule. You know, you can't go out into open space, you know, miles away from anyone else. Please, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that one there, I agree with that one. With you on that comment, I don't. I think that was a bit of an overreaction. I think they overreacted a little bit in Victoria. Like, the police was like pretty strict on a lot of things.
I've seen footage of people getting dragged away from, you know, this, that, and the other, and it's just, in America, it's at the end of the day, Australia is just like a microcosm of what happens in America on a much smaller scale. But, you know, I think all these, you know, hippie protester types, they just watch on TV what's happening over in America, or on the internet, what's happening in America, and then they organise themselves and do it, you know, a week or two behind over here. It's just like, you see it every time.
You know, and I can understand in America that people protesting because they're a lot more than what I can here. Like, there isn't much government support in America. Okay, they gave you a check of $1,000, but that's it. So these people, they got to eat, so they have to work. It's not like here, we just put them on JobKeeper, or you get a job seeker.
What's happening over there? Are they not getting government?
They don't get that. Their social system is not
financial
like ours.
Support.
Not like ours.
They haven't put a program in place. Yeah,
not like that. No, it's completely different. So you can understand why a lot of them want to get back to it. I mean, they got to eat, you know. And then you have like the governor saying you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. And I think that a lot of the problem, this was I mean, again, I'm no expert or anything, but I think a lot of the problem is like a whole of America has been lumped into one situation, whereas really each state is completely different. Now, when you got the mainstream media controlled by California and New York City, well, that doesn't really appeal to like Georgia or Carolina or Utah or any of these other states, does it? So if you got the New York Times saying he's idiots, what he's doing, he's got to go lock up, you got to lock up, like you lock up. Well, the circumstances in Utah and, you know, in Alabama are completely different than they are in New York and California. So I think that's what there's a lot more discourse than there is here, because over here really we're just isolated in our cities are the main. Our population is really based in the cities, as opposed to like America, where it's across the whole country. So it's interesting. And then obviously in America, they don't like Trump. They will bag Trump. He can't do anything, right? Whatever he does is wrong.
Well, yeah, that's always going to be the case.
That's always going to be the case. Whatever Trump does is wrong. And and I think there's, unfortunately, even whether here you're a left wing or right wing, or you're Liberal, you're Labor, or you're Greens, or you're Shooters and Fishers Party, or One Nation, whatever, when it comes to a case of national crisis, they do have a bipartisan support of each other. Like the National Cabinet has got members of both parties.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But for the most part, yes. But I think Anthony Albanese has had a couple cracks at the Liberal Party about the you know, whatever the decisions are, you know, for this virus stuff.
Yeah, which is. But if you look at the big picture, it's quite minimal, really. Even with the states,
totally
with
minimal,
the Liberal states and the Labor states talking to the Liberal government, it's quite minimal. Whereas over in America, it is so fractured, because whether you're a Democrat, no matter what you do, even if Trump said I'm going to give you all $1 million, no, that's wrong. And it's like the same with you're a Republican against a Democrat. It's like, so what's the matter with you people? You got to work. You got a problem. You got to sort it out.
Yeah. At the end of the day, those politicians over there, more than any probably other place in the Western world, don't give a shit about the people there, you know, their constituents that they're supposed to represent. They're there for themselves, and it's just
100%
divided by party lines, and that's it. There's no thought for what's right for people. No chance.
And this was you got to look after the people. You got your own hidden agendas. Now you got Cuomo in New York running his own race. Then you got Bill de Blasio as the mayor. I think the states in America have too much power, personally, but that's my opinion. That's their country, their constitution. They work it how they like. I think the governors they have way too much power over there. But and you look at what's the governor of California, and it's like, whoa, people, what he's doing. I think it's crazy. They're such bickering and it's the president's fault, this fault. And it's not our fault. We're doing this, and the president hasn't given us that. And then the president's gone, but we've given him this. He's done nothing with it.
Talking about the governor of New York, Cuomo, I saw on Twitter the other day. He's calling it the European virus because he reckons because it came to America from Europe. So it's not the Chinese virus or the Wuhan virus. It's the European virus because, obviously they've got interests with China, so they don't want to offend them. So now it's the European virus. What a disgrace. That is absolutely it's so blatant. It's so obvious what he's doing. And he's been called out no end on Twitter and on social media.
Yeah, I think he's a bit he's another one that double standard. Like his brother was out running in the was exercising in public open space, and some bloke called him out. He goes, "Mate, you're the one that's on," because his brother's a news reporter for CNN.
Fredo.
No, Andrew.
Yeah.
What's he?
Yeah. Do you know the Fredo story?
No, which one's that one?
So he was. This is probably a year or two ago now. Well, it's probably at least over a year. What's his name? Is it Chris? Who's the reporter?
Chris Cuomo is Andrew Cuomo or Chris?
Is it CNN or MSNBC?
Yeah, CNN.
All right. So he was out at some bar, and some, just a general person of the public was talking to him. I can't remember the context to what the conversation was, but he called him Fredo. Do you know what that refers to?
The brother from
Godfather. The dumb brother in The Godfather. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So basically, because his older brother is the governor, he's the dumb brother, and this Chris Cuomo was trying to he went mental about it, and he was in the media going off about it because it was filmed, so it went viral. Right, on social media, and he was going off that it's a racist slur against Italians. Fucking bullshit. It was just an insult, basically, to say that you're the dumb brother. But he was trying to turn it around and say, this guy's being racist, and everyone who's repeating it is being racist, against Italians and that kind of thing. Mate, I tweeted at him multiple times whenever he was tweeting stupid things about it. I was just calling him Fredo, and so many other people on social media were doing it because if you're going to be insulted by that, it's ridiculous. The insult is that you're an idiot, not that you're Italian. So, mate, just embarrassing.
The one, or Fredo there was the one having a dummy spit because he was out breaking quarantine rules and someone called him out.
Okay, and did he get in trouble for it?
Oh, well, never got reported, did it? Fox News reported it, but CNN wasn't going to report it, were they?
What's been happening even in Australia, really, with it? Like, just switched off.
I know there was no cases today. I don't knew that much.
I've got a feeling this is not from anything that I've seen or read or anything. I've just got this feeling that they're going to loosen restrictions or whatever, or get rid of most of or even all, who knows, eventually restrictions. But I reckon it's going to come up again. There's going to be like another wave, and then there's going to be another lockdown. I mean, that might not happen, but I'm making a guess at this point.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing that it's going to happen again.
I'm no epidemiologist or doctor or nothing, but at one point in the world, you're going to have to face it. Till there's a cure or a vaccine, what are we going to do? Live the rest of our lives in lockdown?
Well, yeah, I suppose this is part of my thinking. Yeah, it's like, I know there's only, like in WA, there's only, a handful of active cases. And I think, is one person in hospital, I think?
One person. No, one person in ICU and 4 in hospital. So
okay, so maybe 4 in hospital at the moment. But so I don't think it'll come from within WA, but someone coming here once they relax things. And that might be months and months down the track, but I just got this feeling that it's going to come back.
Yeah, but what, we're never going to do anything.
Oh no, totally. You've got it. You can't shut down the state or the country forever. You've got to start moving on. But I just got this feeling that it's just, I don't know. Look, I might be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm just making a prediction. That's all. My
gut's telling me that the politicians and the public servants really got a lot of power at the moment, and they like flexing their muscles. That's just the vibe I've got. That's my gut feeling.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, one of the things is, with the
Hey, AFL.
I was going to say the tracking app. You know, they're not forcing everyone, but I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know. I think eventually it's going to become more enforced that you got to have this app. Well, one thing is, like here in WA, I think they're going to open up pubs and restaurants, but one of the conditions of entering is that you have to either have the app or you leave your name and details, contact details, right? Stuff that. That's bullshit. I'm not leaving my contact details, and you know, so people can. I know that you know the idea is for the greater good. You know, if anyone gets infected, they need to do the source tracking and that kind of thing. I get that. I'm just uneasy about that whole able to track where you've been, who you've been in contact with, talk, you know, who you've spent your time with.
And what I find ironic is that they tell you, oh, sorry, you don't even have to put your real details in. You can use a fake name. I said, what's the point then?
Hang on. I'm sure that it's connected to your phone number and then all bets are off. So
I know, but they're saying that's what they're saying. You don't have to use your real name. Oh, sorry, but there's 6 active cases in Western Australia, 1 in hospital in ICU.
Exactly. All right. So I don't need to have the app on my phone when there's, you know, 6 active cases in the whole state of a population of 2 million. I'm sorry. Don't try to tell me that it's essential for everyone to have this app in place.
And even like with opening, we're reducing restrictions now, so we opening up pubs and clubs. Pubs and restaurants can have 20 people. I mean, seriously, honestly, if I'd actually be insulted if I was a restaurant owner. 20 people. So you're telling me if someone goes to the Camfield can only have 20 people? It's licensed for 3,000 people, and they're going to have 20.
I mean, I suppose they could do
That's
it
just ludicrous
on a proportion of square meterage or something like that. But at the end of the day, that's hard to work out. So it's much easier to just have a blanket ruling and that's it.
A blanket ruling, but they're not going to open. What if I was the owner of the Camfield? Why on earth would I even turn the power on to serve 20 people?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
What? So it's 20 people are going to have. So they're going to have 20 hamburgers at $18 each, right? You run the numbers. Well, I'm going to open up a whole kitchen. I'm going to get a chef. I'm going to get a cook. I'm going to get a larder. I'm going to get a kitchen hand. I'm going to get a prep.
Doesn't cover the wages.
Even if I order the most expensive meal on there, it's still not going to cover the wages.
Yeah, and look, that's probably the case whether you're the biggest pub in the southern hemisphere or whether you're a hole in the wall pub. It's probably the same.
The only people going to benefit from this are your small little cafes that do mainly like takeaway, or they're going to have a little seat there. They might have 5 tables in there. That's it.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to win. They're the ones that are going to be open. Otherwise, why would anyone else open? It's not worth it. You'd be mad to. I think you'll be committing financial suicide. Well, you got to stock your fridge up, you stock your kitchen up. You got to do everything. It's like, no, please. I don't think they thought that went through too. I don't think that was thought too.
Unless it's going to be, that's week 1, 20 people. Week 2, all right, well, 50 people, something like that, and just do it in stages to make it let you populate your localities. More and more in stages. However, the stages have to be quick. You can't let it run for a month of 20 people in it.
Well, they're saying 20 people. They're not going to review on June 18. I'm like, man.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's a month. That doesn't make any sense.
It's like, come on, man. Seriously, June 18. You're wasting my time.
Yeah, no, that's not right. So that is a month because it's starting on May 18th. So June 18th is a month.
Have you seen I
think it's got to be reviewed week to week, not month to month.
Anyway, so that's parts. I see they've relaxed the borders as well.
So what are they letting in and out?
No, the actual state borders closed.
Yeah. Oh, those internal borders. Yeah, I think you can't go everywhere, but though, can you?
No, which is still crazy anyway.
You can go down south for a holiday.
So they've combined. So if you go into business in Geraldton, this is your prime season to get like people come up there.
Yeah, but I think a concern, and I'm not sure if I haven't looked at, a region map to see what's open or not. But I think a concern is if you look at remote Aboriginal communities, for example.
Yeah, but they're still locked down.
They are still locked down? I was going to say, if you're allowed to go into those areas or regions, the potential damage that could do if someone or some people got infected in those regions, man, it would be chaos.
That's correct. That's fine. But if you look at the map, right? So what's happened is they've done Perth, Peel, Wheatbelt, and Great Southern as one region. So you can travel for as far as north as probably, what would it be? Lancelin.
Sure,
so from Lancelin. No. Geraldton's in the Midwest.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So you're talking. I know the country town of Watheroo, but I don't think many people will know where that is. From there, as far east as probably past Hyden, near Wave Rock, down to Albany and across. So picture that right left-hand corner of Western Australia. Then you have the Esperance Goldfields, and there's another region there. You're allowed to travel in between there. And then you have the Midwest, Pilbara, and I forgot the other name of the other region. But anyway, you can travel amongst. No, the Kimberley's completely locked down. And so you can travel within those borders. So it's like saying, man, why can't I go to Geraldton? Like, I'll get it, lock up the Aboriginal regions. Yes, I understand that, because you don't want that to don't want the virus to go rampant through there, right? But yeah, so it's here. So it's restricted. So you can travel between Southwest, Great Southern, Wheatbelt, and Perth, right? Then you can do Midwest, Gascoyne, and Pilbara. And then you can do Goldfields and Esperance. So if you're in those regions, you can travel. So, but I'm thinking to myself, why don't you just open all them up and leave the Kimberley closed, obviously because it's more sensitive, and the biosecure because they've actually got certain regions where they're saying it's completely.
Yeah, Gascoyne is the one I think you couldn't think of. Yeah,
Gascoyne, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. What's the point of, if you're in Esperance, you can't travel to Albany, right? So crossing from Goldfields to Wheatbelt, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're in, say, Kalgoorlie, you can't go to Geraldton. Why? That doesn't make any sense.
And the other thing I find very, very frustrating is, and I was speaking to my brother-in-law about this, he's a football coach, right? How the sporting teams can't train with 20 people and all this sort of stuff, and no contact, and everyone's got to bring their own ball. Yeah, I was speaking to another friend of mine whose child plays soccer for school. They're allowed to play. They're playing games amongst each other. Do you listen to the contradiction there? Like my nephew plays football for a local football team. He can't train or play a game, right? At the train, he can train up to, but non-contact sport, and they can't. So basically, you can't do much besides a few cardio drills and a few kicking drills, because there's no tackling, or you can't use the bump bags.
No contact in training. It's just
no contact in training.
Right.
Yet the other person who plays soccer for the school is able to play trained soccer, because that's what they do, and then have inter year 8s versus 9s and 9s versus 8s games.
As normal with contact.
As normal, yeah. No, they're not allowed to play with their clubs, but they can play at school. It's ludicrous.
Most of them be involved with clubs as well, outside of school, where they can do one thing at school, but they can't do anything. You can't do, normal things at their club soccer training or inter-club games.
Yes.
Doesn't make any sense, yeah. Yeah, but there's a lot of these contradictions with all these, restrictions and restrictions being lifted, and there's so many of these little contradictions. At the end of the day, I know they all sound stupid, but you can't account for every single one of them. I understand that as well, right?
Look, yeah, I understand that, but so you can train or you can't train. So just train. Yeah. No, you can't have contact, and you can't use this, and you can't do that, and they're going to have their own ball to train.
You may as well just stay home and kick the ball against the garage wall.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but he goes to school, he can play a full game. Just say no, he can train. Up to 20 people can train. That's it. No games, just train. Thank you. Why to complicate it? Why complicate it?
if kids can go to school, kids should be able to play sport with each other, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Yeah, I agree.
This is crazy. And then I'm the one that everyone goes, oh, you just take it, take things too personally. I'm not taking things too personally. I'm just saying, expressing my frustration. And a lot of people are. If you're going to do it, I'm all for locking it up and doing everything right. But, man, if you're going to say you're going to do this and do that, there's going to be an element of, because like I was saying, the social and the economic effect is going to really hit the world pretty hard. Oh, hit WA hard.
I was thinking about this actually. You know how if they intend to do just one round of everyone plays everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how different is that really compared to normally an AFL home and away season is like 1.5 rounds of everyone plays everyone.
Yeah,
roughly.
Or not at all. Right. Probably less than that, really, isn't it?
So you know how I was saying a week or two back. I was saying it'll be a tainted premiership or a premiership with an asterisk. At the end of the day, it's not that bloody different. It's probably more fair if you only play everyone once.
It's because Richmond doesn't get to play or Richmond doesn't get to play all their games at the MCG then.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, an ideal home and away league situation, obviously is everyone plays everyone twice. But if everyone plays everyone once, it's probably less disadvantage built into the league than everyone playing everyone 1.5 times.
Oh, I just reckon everyone plays Richmond at the MCG just because Richmond need more. It's their home ground. How much I love Richmond. Everyone goes, oh, Collingwood do the favourite. Ball, mate. Richmond, they get favoured, mate.
Well, they're the money makers
at the moment.
I think Richmond's got more. Richmond has the most members at the moment, don't they?
Mate, they're closet members. I'm sorry, because when 10 years ago when they were nothing, where was their membership? When they got spanked in 2007 by Geelong by 150 points, whatever, where was all their supporters? Where was all their membership? At least Collingwood's been consistent, whether they be spanked or not. They've always had high members. True or not? I know I'm going to upset a few Richmond supporters, but it's true. They all come out of the woodwork.
Upset them, I don't care. Richmond supporters, I couldn't care less about.
You look at Richmond, like out of the past 3 years, they all come out of the woodworks now. Before that, where were they? When
everyone loves a winner.
Yeah, what was his name there? What was that famous coach? The 5-year plan. What was his name? The ex-Bulldog coach, Terry Wallace, and his 5-year plan. Where were all the supporters then? There was none around then. They didn't have the highest membership then. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, Richmond supporters. Just a little bit upset with the AFL.
I don't think that many of them listen to us. Don't worry. All right, it's almost my dinner time, so how about we do a shorter one this time around?
Yeah, no dramas. Take care. I'll speak to you later.
Okay.
Ciao, mate.
Ciao.
Good